What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Episode 11. Double one. How you doing, Chris?
11. Great.
Chris is back from Mexico. He looks tanner, some would say. Might be the lighting, but
The
he
people
is
that
back.
I've asked, including David, have said that I don't really look that tan. So,
Yeah,
disappointing.
it is, but better than burn,
I mean,
right? Though?
I kind of tried to,
Get that burn.
on the last day.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, first day burn is awful.
No, it's the worst. First day burn is actually the worst thing, like, ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I tried to apply less on the last day. But obviously, I mean, I feel like my stomach is a little bit still on the, just like a tiny bit burnt.
Okay.
And, you know, my legs, I think, are probably the most tan.
There you go.
Because I mean,
You're always wearing shorts
well, I was basically wore a swimsuit for
the whole time.
85% of the time.
Yeah, there you go.
And you don't put sunscreen on your legs because you have the hair to block it.
Yeah, which sometimes can cause, foot burn is the worst burn.
Oh, I
Yeah,
make sure to
burn
put
on the top of
sunscreen.
your
Yeah,
feet,
that,
that
you
is
don't mess
literally
around
the
with
worst
that.
thing ever.
No.
But
But we're back, double one. Let's get into Minnesota Minute.
yeah, Minnesota Minute. Minnesota Vikings, huge win over the 49ers. We will get to that in a little bit. They play Green Bay coming up. They're currently 3-4. Gophers beat Iowa last weekend. Floyd of Rosedale is back. They play Michigan State this weekend at 2:30. Minnesota Wild started off the season 2-1. They are playing Edmonton tonight, Philadelphia, and Washington coming up. And then the T-Wolves open up the season Wednesday at Toronto with the home opener Saturday against the Heat. There we go.
Love it.
And we already have people sitting out.
Right. Well, they're hurt.
That's what I know. I'm just saying. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, we just need our guy Jaden to get better soon.
Yeah, defensive stopper.
Mhm.
But, yep. So, see how it happens.
And it's a good thing the NBA's back.
It is.
Happy about that.
It is.
Roundtable today. I'm pretty light on the roundtables. So
I only have one thing.
really,
It's college football. It's Michigan.
that's it.
What's going on? What are we doing here?
Oh no, I didn't have that. Yeah, it's kind of sketch.
I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, I've heard. So here's the thing. So if people don't know, probably know if you've
Yeah,
been on
give
Twitter or
them
anything.
an overview.
Overview is Michigan is getting accused of basically having someone on their staff. I don't
Mhm.
know if it's like a GA or somebody. Basically getting accused of sign stealing. There's like information that he's came out that he like traveled to other games
Mhm.
to scout, to do whatever. And now there's videos coming out of like him standing next to the defensive coordinator the whole game and the offensive coordinator the whole game. And it's even more sketchy. Like I just saw a clip today that like Ohio State called a play and they zoomed in on the guy behind CJ Stroud. You can see him in the background and he's just staring at the signs. And then he relays something to the coach and everyone points up for pass. So they knew they switched it to a pass. I guess on that play still Ohio State still scored. So it was like, okay, you know the play, but you didn't stop it. But yeah, kind of sketchy.
Interesting.
Kind of sketch.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to differentiate, like, obviously if you're going for the sole reason of looking at the signs, then that's not a good thing.
Yeah, but how do you even like?
But like if you're going to watch a game and understand when the play calls, there's like a fine line between if you're going to watch the signs that the coaches and the team is making, or you're going to watch the play. Like if you're going to watch the plays, I mean, everybody can see the video anyways.
Yeah, I think it's hard because it's also like, how do you actually determine if he was going there just to steal the signs? I mean, he could come out and say, I wasn't stealing signs. Well, these videos show that you guys knew the plays ahead of time. Okay, well, we scouted.
Yeah.
But it's also like, it's kind of crazy. I mean, it's one of those questions too. This is the other question I have. So college football is the only, well, obviously NFL has it, but like they're talking like, why don't they just put like headsets in the college quarterback's head? Like if you're preparing these guys for the NFL, why not just play it like the NFL and take out the whole sign thing? It takes out the sign stealing. Like you just literally have them in their head.
I mean,
We're preparing them for NFL, but they're not doing anything. They're not doing that like the NFL. They're running over to the coach or they're looking at signs. And it's like you watch the Gopher game. they line up quickly, and then 5 seconds later they back off and look, and it's like, okay, you got 8 guys doing different signals. It's like, just put the thing in the ear.
I think college football truthers wouldn't like that.
I know, but that's the new thing is like these coaches are now kind of like, okay, if you guys want to avoid it, here's how you kind of avoid it. It's one way to avoid it.
Yeah.
I just think it's crazy. I mean, this would be their second strike this year.
Yeah, that's not good.
And so it's now all of a sudden it's like it's kind of a lose-lose for Harbaugh because it's like if you don't know about it, that's worse.
I mean, there's no reason. Like, if he didn't know about it, then
it's worse.
No, I mean, it all will come back to him anyways.
Right.
It's his job to know about it.
Yeah. But I'm also...
Plus, also, everything is going through him anyways.
Right. And I also think it's hard, too, where it's like, I don't necessarily agree to punish players for that shit. Like, they've worked too hard. They're the number 2 team in the nation. If this team was 56th in the nation, no one would care.
No.
So, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, we'll see what plays out. It's a crazy story.
Yeah. And it's kind of a coincidence that it's coming out, like, now.
Right.
And it's been happening for, 3 years is what? Potentially 3 years?
I think potentially, but I think now what's happening is, like, some coaches, like, there was a Rutgers coach at halftime that was talking to the reporter that literally came out and was like, you guys know stuff's happening. I don't need to talk about it. Sketchy things are happening. Like, he said it right to the camera and then walked away. So now it's like, now these coaches are, like, not acknowledging it because I think it's been happening the whole time, but now it's getting to a point where it's like, all right, we might have to investigate this.
Right.
So we'll
see. Enough things come out, then you kind of have to.
Yeah, unfortunately so.
That's the only one in all of them?
Yeah, that's the only one I got. I mean, yeah.
Mine is NFL. Kareem Jackson. I think he play safety?
Free safety,
yeah.
For the Broncos.
He was suspended. It just got lowered down to 2 games right before we started taping this. But originally suspended for 4 games, and has been fined around $90,000 already, and it's only going to be week 8 for like leading with the head, helmet to helmet hits. Mm-hmm. I mean, at some point, this guy has to change something, doesn't he?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's also, it's hard.
These dudes are getting concussions left and right from when he's doing it.
Yeah. Well, I think the hard part is like, it's the hardest position probably in sports is literally playing defense in the NFL. Like, let's be 100% honest.
Probably defensive back.
Defensive back. But what I'm saying is on top of it, you watch the Sunday night football game, Eagles, Dolphins, and what is it, Christian Watkins or whatever, pushes Jalen Hurts with 2 arms. Pushes him. Doesn't even tackle him. Roughing the passer. How is that roughing the passer? What do you want the guys to do? And I'm not saying this is extreme because Kareem Jackson actually does. Like, at some point, buddy, it's like, you got to lay up or do something.
Well, also, in 10 years, it's not going to be good for you either.
Well, they don't care. Dude, a lot of these guys think... You think they care about 10 years? None of these guys care about 10 years.
I mean, they're probably not thinking about it, but they probably should.
Yeah, 100%. But I'm just saying it's also just like... These guys are going full speed. It's so hard to change your angle when it's also like at any point in time, the guy could lower his head.
Well, you can change your angle from head forward to head up.
Yeah. I mean, there's been penalties now two-a-days. I mean, it seems like every weekend there's somebody getting suspended. I mean, not suspended, but like thrown out of the game. It was a Titans guy, basically concussed the Ravens wide receiver or something. No, the Ravens guy.
Yeah.
Kyle, whatever his name is. No, not Kyle Anderson. That's
Hamilton.
Hamilton. I thought it was Anderson. No, but I just think it's hard. I mean, it's the hardest position in sports, and on top of it, it's like players are now so good at knowing what they can get away with and not.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if you tackle a quarterback, 50% chance you're going to personal foul. I don't care if they have the ball. It used to be you couldn't get roughing the passer if the guy still had the ball. Now, if you tackle the guy too hard, roughing the passer. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's game changing. It really is. It's too bad, but Kareem Jackson on the same time, it's like, coach, maybe let's practice that during. Like, I understand the 4 games to 2 games, I guess, because that's still extreme and they're ass anyways. But like, come on, dude. You got to change something. Like Harrison Smith came out too, and when he had that hit on George Kittle, just on Monday night, and he was like, I felt bad because I hit him in the groin area, but he was like, that's the only spot you really can hit him. You can't hit him in the chest because at any point they could lower their head and you nail their head.
Right.
So you can't really aim for the chest anymore. You got to go for the lower area, which, to be honest, you hit a guy in the knee or the leg, could be just as bad for them.
Yeah, but no, totally.
So, see what happens.
Yep.
I don't know.
Look at that, we're rolling.
Bang.
Now we're going to beer.
Yeah, we got beer this time.
Yep.
Go ahead, Chris. I can't even.
We changed
speak.
it up in honor of it being the end of October. We're doing a German. I don't know if it's even a brewery. I think it's from. Oh, it's imported by a New York brewery. Oh no, brewed and bottled by Paulaner. We'll just stop there. From Munich, Germany. But then it's imported by a place in New York. But
You think you'd ever go to Oktoberfest? Like actually Oktoberfest? Where's that at?
It's in Germany.
Germany, yeah. Do you ever think you'd go? I think that should be crazy. It's like a week long.
Well,
Nobody works.
It's only a week or it's a whole month?
I thought it was just a week.
I don't know.
Oh,
it
shit,
could be
I don't
either.
know.
But
it's a whole month.
I don't know if I'll ever go. I think there's other things that I'm probably looking to do more so than go to Oktoberfest.
Okay. 16 days.
Okay, so half a month.
That's crazy.
It looks sweet.
For a day or 2 days. That's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I went to Mexico for 3 days and that was plenty.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's a lot.
Like this was a question that some of us were talking about. So, have you been to an all-inclusive in Mexico before? Okay.
I've never been out of the country yet. So I've never been to an all-inclusive.
Okay. How long? So, how I would characterize it is, well, I guess this is gonna be a tough conversation because you never went on spring break either in college.
My spring break was
Yeah, exactly. So it's a little different, but
yeah.
All right. So I would say that it was similar to like a spring break trip,
Okay.
adult version.
You're talking about an all-inclusive resort?
Or
a wedding.
This trip,
Okay.
like destination wedding, at an all-inclusive, right? So you can basically eat anything. Like there's buffets, there's food basically whenever you want it. There's multiple bars that you can go. You can get whatever drink you want at any time of the day.
Okay.
It opens
So
up
you just basically walk up to whatever.
and say, "Hey, I want a strawberry daiquiri," and they make it for you.
Damn. Okay.
So, and you're on the beach, it's hot, you want some refreshing drinks,
Mm-hmm.
right? How long of a trip do you think you could do that for?
Ooh.
Like usually for spring break, obviously it's like a week,
Yeah.
right? So you leave.
But spring break, were you staying at all-inclusives in spring
No,
break?
no.
Oh, okay.
No, but this is like a similar vibe where it's like you go down there, you're hanging out on the beach, you're drinking drinks, and you're eating food at a buffet, right? Like, I mean, you're eating pizza and
Let's just say
pasta.
health just goes out the window.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
How long of a trip do you think you could do?
I think the answer obviously dramatically changes now, but
No, I want to know the answer for now.
for now, I would probably say 4 days max
4 days.
is what I would want. I'm telling you this right now, and this might sound terrible, not even at an all-inclusive. Like, we go on vacations, granted to like California and stuff, or vacations, and I'm like, after 3 days, I'm like, I kind of want to go home. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I like miss it. Like, I'm fine going on the vacations and stuff, but it's just so hard where it's like, we went to Hawaii recently for 5 days.
Yeah.
Granted, the time change is kind of messed up, but like 4 nights, 5 days, and by like the 4th day, it was just like, this is great. But like, I really just miss my bed. I miss
Your
my
body
schedule.
starts to
I miss
ache.
my stuff. Yeah, and you don't eat like you normally do. You don't wake up. And vacation is great. So I'd probably say 4 days. The drinking is
for this kind of trip.
for all inclusive, and I think they sound great. I think you should. I mean, obviously, the plan at some time in my life is to probably do one. But I also think, for me, when I look at it, I'm like, the drinking's great, but I would love the food. Just all access to food.
Yeah, and they had a hibachi.
That's what I'm saying. And no, the food ain't bad.
They had a hibachi and steak.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Steakhouse.
The food ain't bad. I mean, the drinks are nice, but I also, it's like, I'm one of those people, like, I could care less. I mean, I would still have a few drinks here and there, but like, I don't want to get a beer at 10 o'clock. Like, I'll just go eat.
That's why you get the daiquiris or the margaritas.
Yeah, or the margaritas, yeah, and then just chill in the pool. But yeah,
Miami.
what's your max?
I would say like Wednesday to Sunday.
Come back Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like one more day of what I did was probably enough.
So like 4 and a half
But like,
days.
I mean, this is getting in the weeds, but like everybody usually has like one day on a trip like this where it's like, they got a little bit too much after it.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd put myself in that category.
I will say, I will say this though. Flying home hungover is awful.
What about flying to a place hungover?
See,
awful.
See, I've said this. Well, if you're already hungover and you're flying, that's it. You just went after it that day. I hate. I'll say this. I don't hate. I dislike even drinking before. Like flights. I get like my head. Like I always get a headache, and I always whenever like I don't know if it's the turbulence, but I'm talking about like our Arizona bachelor party.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got off that plane, I was like, I feel like crap.
Like coming back home.
No, going to Arizona, and I only had 2 or 3 beers at the airport.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like I don't know if it's the turbulence or like whatever. And I know some people do it for like anxiety and stress, but like every time I've drank before, I've always been like,
no, people love airport beers.
Yeah, it's a thing. All right, let's crack it open.
All right, let me hold that.
Yeah. Double fist them. So what's the difference between these? Oh, one's a lager.
Yep.
And one's a Marzen. What the fruit is that? Yeah. That's kind of interesting topic. Oh shit. Next week, some people actually mentioned it. Next week we're gonna do the orange taste testing. I forgot about this week. Orange, tangerine, clementine. Got a few people on board. It would be interesting to know if people can tell the difference. Our viewers / listeners. It'd be interesting. We'll see if we know. I don't know if I've ever had a tangerine.
Like by taste or by look or what?
Oh, it's only taste.
Okay.
Look, you could probably tell. Clementine's gonna be smaller. Orange and tangerine probably would be harder, but I'm saying strictly taste. It's kind of like the Reese's Pieces debate. No, Reese's Eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Which we could also give a second try again this year if we want to redeem ourselves. But
I mean, I don't know if we need to redeem ourselves. All right, so we got Munchan lager, basically a lager. And we got a Oktoberfest Marzen. So lager, typical like
light beer,
lightish beer. Lightish with I believe it's lightish with a little bit more hops.
Yeah, I would say that's probably pretty accurate. Forgot I had the microphone on. Yeah, I think it's okay. I don't think it's bad. If it would be like at a brewery, I think this would be a very my stylish beer, but I don't think I would want more than like 2. The hoppiness kind of gets to me.
For the lagers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's kind of typical, but like I don't think it's a bad beer. It's light to drink. It goes down pretty smooth. It's just that aftertaste and also like the hoppiness kind of comes out.
Mm-hmm. There's not a lot to it. It's just kind of like a regular beer.
Yeah, just like regular beer with a little bit of more like taste. Like it's like you take like a famous Busch Light would add a little bit of hop, and there you go. You know.
Yep. Just a little bit more.
Damn.
Let me get one more little sipperoo.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 5.3 for me.
Okay.
So I think it's okay. I mean, lagers are tough. They have that hoppiness. I'm not a big hoppiness guy, but I think it's an okay light beer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this whole pack, this Oktoberfest might be tough for me.
Right.
Just because I don't really like the distinction of beers. I mean, they're decent.
Okay.
But you know.
I'm gonna give it a 5.8. I think it's better than what Dave's score might give it, but it's just kind of like a run-of-the-mill beer.
Yeah.
Not a lot to it. I mean, you could drink these easily.
They're very light.
You know.
Yeah.
So
100%.
I mean, we haven't gotten to the Oktoberfest yet, but like, you're definitely gonna be able to drink more of the lagers if you want, and it's gonna be a little bit easier on you.
Yeah, it's definitely easier on you. I mean, it's for sure. Yeah, so that's the thing it has going for it. But like you said, it doesn't. There's nothing to write home about.
But this type of beer isn't necessarily one that's like, oh, I'm trying to drink a lot of them. It's like, I'll have one or two.
This is your casual.
Just like this whole pack,
Yeah.
I think, will be.
Well, I think when you look at beers, I think like 2 or 3 of the beers out of the pack will probably be more so like, hey, let's have a beer for dinner.
Yeah.
Or let's have 1 or 2, not, hey, let's go get messed up on these beers. Like, maybe the light ones will be, but like, obviously darkers are harder to drink. But like, I think casually, for sure, they're one of those things where it's like, you're not going to want to get a ton of them.
Yeah, we should see if Scott likes these.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Charles?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Oktoberfest here.
Oh, yeah.
Do you like Oktoberfest?
You know, it ain't bad.
Yeah, no, I like it.
It's not bad,
I
actually.
typically like Oktoberfest as well, so.
It's like the same thing you said. It's kind of in that category where it's a good beer to have 1 or 2, but it's also like one of those things where it's like, I'm not going to have a lot of them, but I think they're good. I mean, this is probably the dumbest question I could ask, but are Oktoberfest beers only around in the fall?
Typically,
They're like seasonal.
If a restaurant has them, then they would be seasonal.
Got it. So like when you go to a restaurant and they're like the seasonal, whatever this is. What is this? Paulaner Munchan? Munchan? It's like this is what the seasonal. You know, like when they say.
That's how you say Munich in Germany. Munchan. That's why it's Bayern München.
What? Really?
The soccer team, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was always Bayern Munich.
Well, Americanized.
Oh, okay.
But
That's
otherwise
interesting.
it's Bayern München.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact for you guys.
Learn
Haven't brought the
something
fun
new.
facts in a while. That's
Good
crazy.
for us.
You know what? I'm gonna go. I actually think this one's a little better than the other one. I'm gonna go 6 flat.
Okay.
I think it has some good flavor. I think it's good if I wanted 1 or 2 beers for dinner. This would be up there for choice.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep, I'm gonna give it a 7-2.
Whoa! Super high. You really like Oktoberfest.
Yeah, I think they're good,
Yeah.
and it's nice to drink a beer like this for just like, hey, I'm just chilling. Like, I just want to have a beer. Like, I do enjoy a good Oktoberfest, and I would say that this one is a good Oktoberfest. Yeah.
Like what do we call it? Casual dads. We just call those in college where it's like a beer you probably only want like 1 or 2 of. It's a casual dad beer.
All right.
You're sitting there watching football on a Sunday. You're like, fuck. Oh, sorry. You're like, dang, I didn't drink this week. Maybe I want a beer. This is it.
Yeah, I don't know how many times I've ever said that, but
No, I don't either. Sundays are usually.
We're not to the casual dad stage yet.
Nah, maybe.
Maybe like I would say more likely like a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Like 1
Or something 1.
Yeah.
Maybe you order in some dinner. Maybe a Friday night. Order some dinner. You like the tavern. You order the tavern.
See, Friday night, I'm less of a beer guy.
What are you, like a vodka guy? Or just like less drinking in general?
Less of a vodka guy too. No, I would say more of a cocktail or wine on Fridays.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then beer on the other days.
Correct. Right. Wow, there you go. Well, there you have it, folks.
There you go. All right, we got 5-3 for Dave, 5-8 for me on the lager, and 6-0 for Dave, 7-2 for me on the Oktoberfest.
And that's what they call a review. Schmack.
All right.
Bang.
Well, we haven't talked about college football
In a minute.
in a while.
Yeah.
So, we do got a few things that have changed.
Yeah.
What would you say is the number one thing? So we can say, 3 weeks or so it's been since we talked about it. What would you say is the biggest thing that's changed?
I would say the great teams are kind of defining why they're great and the other teams are not. So you look at a team like USC, who everyone thought was great.
USC's looking like terrible.
But their defense stinks. Like they don't score. I mean, they score a lot of points and their offense is pretty good. Defense stinks. The last few weeks when they've actually been challenged by good teams, I mean, Caleb Williams really hasn't looked great.
No, he's looked awful.
So I would say that's probably the one thing. And then you look at a team like Alabama keeps finding ways to win. You look at a team like Ohio State finds ways to win against a tough Penn State team. I mean, there's just some games where these great teams are taking the next step. But I think there's a big distinction between both of them. I think it's crazy because it's like if you look at Washington, a team that always scores a ton of points, they won 15-7.
Yeah, and they probably should have lost.
Right. So now it's like almost a question where it's like the last few weeks, Michael Penix Jr. and Caleb Williams have kind of talked themselves out of the Heisman. Penix has not looked good the last few weeks, and Caleb Williams, I don't even know. Like Bo Nix is probably has to be up there.
Who is the favorite currently?
I don't even know. I guess I can look that up.
I don't either.
I mean, Dylan Gabriel was for Oklahoma for a while.
Those two were so far ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
So now the conversation's definitely more open after the last couple
Wow,
weeks.
this thing shows you like a little bubble graph thing. Yeah, it still says Michael Penix Jr. is at the top, Caleb Williams, but Bo Nix is up there. Jordan Travis is going, and then
the wild thing is
Ward, but
that from Washington State.
Yeah.
The wild thing is it has I think it's Cameron Penix on a consistent trajectory up.
Yeah.
Whereas the last couple of weeks,
he's looked terrible.
His stats haven't been very good. They keep winning, but his stats.
So 275 with 2 interceptions last game. Then the game before that, I mean, against Oregon, he probably was decent. 302, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. I think the biggest thing is they just keep winning. They just keep winning. Arizona, he didn't have a touchdown, I don't think. Yeah, 363 yards passing.
Weak.
But it's just, I think the hard part is they just keep winning.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams, they don't keep winning, and he threw for 3 picks against Notre Dame and whatnot. So, I mean, it's close. I mean, I think Oregon's a fun team to watch. They score a lot. They play fast, but I think it'll come down to it.
They lost to Washington, so
right. So you have to give the edge.
They're pretty much out.
Yeah. Which begs the question. Here's a question for you. Mm-hmm. So if you're a guy like Caleb Williams, whose team is now mathematically eliminated from the Final Four,
okay.
What are your thoughts? Like, do you sit out? Do you keep playing?
I think he has to keep playing right now because his
draft stock's going down.
Well, he's probably very comfortably still in the number 1 position. However, I think that if he just stopped playing right now, it would leave a sour taste in people's mouths of, I don't know. Like, yes, he's still probably the number 1, but like, let's show out a couple games. If he doesn't play at the end, or if he like sits out the play or the bowl game or whatever, it is what it is. That doesn't like shock me.
Right.
But if he's just stopped playing right now, then that would leave a lot to be desired.
So right now, he still is the number 1 pick.
100%.
But
he'll still be the number 1 pick.
Vikes are projected pick 7 to take Quinn Ewers.
I don't know if I like that.
Well, it looks like they're going quarterback. So I don't know. I think, he has to keep playing. And, I mean, you got to kind of keep playing just for your guys. I mean, it looks terrible if you don't. Also, the Bears are one of the teams. You didn't mention the Bears. So Caleb Williams might not want to go if the Bears have the number 1 pick.
Is that who you would want the Vikes to take?
Caleb or Quinn Ewers? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I think there's always such a distinction between like what college, like these analysts show, like, oh, this guy's a professional quarterback. It's like, I don't know. I don't know about Quinn Ewers. I haven't watched enough of Quinn Ewers playing. I know he's a good quarterback. Now he's hurt. But it's also just like, really, we're going to take Quinn Ewers like over Kirk? Why not just help bolster the defense or bolster the offensive line or something?
The argument would be if we re-sign Kirk, then we don't have nearly as much money to bolster the defense. If we go with the younger quarterback, then we have a lot more money to bolster the defense.
Yeah, I'll say this right now. I mean, I go on record and I hate to be this guy. I think Danielle Hunter is not coming back.
No, he's not probably coming back, but he's been dominating this year.
No, he leads the league in sacks.
Yeah.
But I think here's the hardest part. We're not trying to talk NFL today, but the hardest part about watching the Vikes is literally against the 49ers. Like, we gave up 0 sacks. Our offensive line looked unbelievable.
Yeah, they did.
We ran the ball very well. Like, what the heck? Why can't... I mean, I know it's so easy to be like, why can't we do that every game? But seriously, like, what the hell?
They did well.
Yeah. So...
all right, back to college football. Do you think that Texas takes a step back now that Ewers is out for a couple games? They almost lost last week.
They did almost lose last week to Houston. I'll say this: I think they will be just fine. They play BYU coming up at home. I don't know the extent of Quinn Ewers' injury. Probably a week, 2 weeks. Let's see who they play after that. They play Kansas State at home. Okay, Kansas State's a little tougher, but you got backup guys on that team who are literally Arch Manning potentially versus the other backup who's probably a 5-star. It's like these guys can play.
It said week to week.
Okay, so he's for sure out next week and then maybe the week after, but I think these guys will be just fine. They'll be able to play. I think they might, defensively they're good and offensively they have so many weapons that it's like, I think they'll be just fine.
I mean, the rest of their schedule doesn't really scare you.
No, I think the big game that scared you was Oklahoma.
Yes. And they lost that one.
Yeah, which is always a tough game.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's true.
So,
all right.
I don't think they take a step back. I think there's a lot of teams when you go fast forward to this next week. There's just a lot of games where it's kind of like, I think that a very interesting game will be Florida at home versus Georgia on the road. I think Georgia on the road Florida's a tough place to go play. Yep. Yes, I understand they're 14-point favorites. Yes, I understand that. It's a tough place to play in the swamp, and I think this will be a good test for Georgia. And then, obviously, Oregon going to Utah. Utah just beat USC, so now it's like, hey, it's a tough stretch.
I mean, Utah's been the team to be reckoned with in the Pac-12.
And they went down their starting quarterback.
Yeah, and he's out the rest of the year.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's crazy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So, that's very interesting.
Their defense shows up every single time.
Yep, the defense is good. Very interesting matchup also, Tennessee-Kentucky. Tennessee coming off a tough loss to Alabama, and Kentucky was my pick, projected to only lose, 2 games all year?
You said 3.
3 games all year, and they lost 2 straight, which is a tough look, so gonna have to bounce back.
You said they wouldn't lose 3.
Wouldn't lose 3? Okay.
Yes.
So can't lose. Only lose 1 more.
It was either they would only lose 3 or they wouldn't lose 3. One of the two.
Okay. Well, if they lose 3, this could be 1, but then I know they have a tougher schedule coming up.
They play Tennessee, Alabama, Louisville, South Carolina's decent, at South Carolina, and at Mississippi State. So, doesn't give you a lot of confidence.
No.
But that's okay.
Not good. And then I also think a very interesting game will be, Oregon State goes to Arizona. Arizona has been surprising teams. I don't even know how.
I don't either.
But, they're only 3.5-point favorites. So it's kind of crazy to think. And then North Carolina coming off a tough loss to Virginia goes to Georgia Tech, which I think should be fine. Drake May's very good, but it's also coming off a loss. How are you going to respond? Very interesting.
Yeah.
So there's a few sneaky games in here I think that are kind of interesting, but I think the good teams will continue to play well, and we'll see what happens.
You think Colorado can keep it close with UCLA?
I do. I really do. I think here's the thing about Colorado, and I know people might hate this or love it. I think Travis Hunter needs to play one position. Stop playing both ways.
Really?
Stop. I know you're great
That
defensively, and I know you're a good wide receiver, but your abilities are going down because you're playing both. Against the last game, or who was it, Stanford? Defensively, he was god awful. He was god awful. And so now it's stick to the one stick to the one you're going to be good at. Maybe play both here and there, but you can't play every snap.
Yeah, it's tough.
No, you just can't. This is college football. I don't care who you're playing. Now you're playing a UCLA team who's got athletes. You cannot play both ways 24/7. So that's my take. Jesus, I have another drink.
I know.
God, Mexico got the best of you.
my throat's scratchy.
Yeah. Nothing like a light beer to wash it down. Or water.
All right. I'm good on college football.
Yeah, I think it will just be, it's kind of a week-to-week thing. I think you kind of get interesting to see. There's a lot, the big matchup last week, obviously Ohio State, Penn State. Ohio State kind of flexed their muscle, and it was a great game. So it'll be interesting to see moving forward.
We're getting down to it. Just over a month.
Go Gophs.
Or so. Month left.
Yeah, we're on week 9 coming up, so.
Week 9 coming up, and there's 15?
Yeah, something like that, and then bowls.
14.
No, 15 and then bowls.
13. There's only... Week 13
Oh,
is
week
the last
15
one.
is the.
Week 13 is the last one, so we have 9. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
This week's
This is
9?
8.
This is 8. So we have 8, 9,
No, this
10,
is 9.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have 5 more weeks.
And then we have the conference, whatever.
Conference.
Conference championships?
Yep.
So week 14 is conference championships.
Uh-huh.
Got it. Interesting. See what happens.
It's coming up.
Yeah. It's going fast.
Okay, let's move on. NBA.
Yeah, NBA.
A lot more enjoyable.
Just starting up. Last week we gave our predictions basically on who we think are going to win different categories.
The postseason awards.
Postseason awards. Give it a listen. Roast us if you want. Tell us who you think, but we'll see what happens. It's exciting that it's back. I mean, here's the thing. This sounds awful to say. NBA, it's like the first week. It's kind of like the MLB in a way. It's like the first week, it's like, hype it up, hype it up. Then by like week 4 or 5, you're kind of like, it's the dog days of the NBA. The only nice thing about the NBA, at least for us, is we have a good friend who works for the Timberwolves. So we get to go to games. So it makes it more interesting. But like all these other games, it's kind of like, okay.
There's a lot of games.
82, some would say.
Some would say half of the MLB.
Yeah.
But, yeah. All right, so today we're talking Eastern Conference. So, in the past, it's been quite top heavy.
Yeah.
The bottom of the Eastern Conference has been awful.
Yeah, there's a huge distinction between the two, for
the
sure.
top couple 5 or so.
Yeah.
And the bottom 5, like, not even close.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. It's always hard because, I don't know, I'm always, like, watching, like, okay, the Nuggets or the Bucks. Like, the Bucks got better.
Yep.
And so now it's just, like, it will be very interesting to see, like, okay, can the Magic compete? I don't know. Are the Raptors good? I don't know. Are the Pistons good? They haven't been good since 2008.
That's true.
Ben Wallace and them.
All right, so let's go division by division.
Okay.
We got the Atlantic first. So people are expecting big things from the Celtics.
Yep.
Then there's honestly kind of
Toss up a little bit.
lot of question marks.
Yeah.
I think if you find somebody that doesn't pick the Celtics to win the division, then they're probably not being truthful to you.
Yeah, they might have the script.
I mean, the 5 teams in this division are the Celtics, the Nets, the Knicks, 76ers, and Raptors. So...
yeah. Which I think is very interesting because I think when you look at it, the 76ers could compete for that number 1 spot. I mean, they'll compete with the Celtics. Nick Nurse is a great coach. And then the Nets, okay, and maybe... I think the Knicks are a fun team to watch here and there. They might sneak their way into the playoffs. I think the lowest seed, the Raptors, have a lot to prove, but they're no slouches. It's not like they're like, oh, here we go, the Raptors. No.
I think the Nets will be better than the Knicks. So I think it'll go Celtics, 76ers, Nets, Knicks, Raptors.
Yeah. It could be very close with those two with the Knicks and the Nets. I think so. But I think the 76ers and the Celtics will be at the top.
Yeah.
Which will be fun games to watch because they're both very good teams. Yeah.
There's just a lot of question marks with the 76ers. Will James Harden come back? Will they trade him and get something for him?
Yeah.
You don't really know. And
Right.
so, I mean, they have good players on their roster already.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the noise of all of this question is just not doing them any favors. Like, they would be better off if he either came back or they traded him.
Just make a
One
decision.
of the two.
Yeah.
Like, let's just be done with it. But the longer this goes, the more it's going to eat into their focus on what they're trying to do this year.
Yeah. Well, I think also, too, I think it's a big year for the Celtics, who obviously have gone out and gotten better. But it's also like, at some point, I feel like every year they win like 55 games. And then in the playoffs, they just seem to not get... I mean, at some point, you expect them to take home a ring, right? They're good. They're very good. They have that. It's just one of those things where it's like, they just don't seem to necessarily finish.
Definitely.
So I'm excited to watch them, obviously. I do like watching them. They're fun to watch, but... So, we'll see what happens.
Yes, we will. All right, Central Division.
Yep.
We got the Bucks are the headliner here, but then you got the Pacers, Pistons, Cavaliers, Bulls.
Yeah. Well, and this is what I was talking about, where top heavy. I think the Bucks are clearly, obviously, the first.
Clearly number one. This one has definitely been teams that have not been living up to expectations.
Yeah, I think the Pistons have been, like I said, they've been trying to regroup and trying to grow since
They've tried to yeah.
It's also hard when your
And
picks
the
don't
Bulls.
play. Like Kate Cunningham, sat out all last year?
Not all,
most of it,
but a lot of it, yeah.
And then the Pacers, you have some decent guys, like Halliburton's pretty good. What's his name? Matherin, he's pretty good. But it's just hard. I mean, you look at these top teams like the Cavaliers, very solid. Bucks, obviously, very good. Pistons, like I said, they won 17 games last year. Like, that's awful.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest changes this year is, are the Bulls going to like make a push to the top like 5-ish of the Eastern Conference?
Yeah.
I think that they potentially have the talent. I mean, they do have a pretty good top 3 guys in DeRozan, Vucevic, and Levine. Like, those 3 guys are good.
DeRozan's very,
It just depends on if they can put it together. Like, they've been underachieving since they got all of those guys.
Yeah. And it kind of hurts. I mean, I will say at the same time, it hurts that obviously Lonzo Ball hasn't played or may never play again.
It does.
But it's also just like they've shown spurts where it's like they could be very good, but they're always just right around 500. So it's like, when's the next step coming?
Mm-hmm.
So
I think the biggest jump might be from the Cavaliers. Like, they have a lot of good pieces, and they're young. So like, you expect each of them to get better and better.
Yeah, and I think the hard part with the Cavaliers is, well, it's not a hard part, but in today's day and age, when NBA is really all about scoring, they're a team that relies heavily on like defense and like slowing it down. I remember, who was it? Knicks Cavaliers last year, and the unders hit by like 30 points, and the over-unders were like 206.
Yeah.
And so it's like they slow it down every time. Donovan Mitchell's obviously very good. They have some good talent, like you said, young guys. So it will be very interesting to see if they could take that next step. I don't think anyone competes with the Bucks. I mean, the Bucks could be the number 1 team in the NBA.
In at least the Eastern Conference, if not the NBA, for sure.
So.
All right, last division in the East, we got Southeast, which is the Hawks, Heat, Magic, Wizards, Hornets. Also, very just like nondescript division.
Yeah, I think it's a very I don't want to say boring, because it's not boring, but it's just one of those divisions where I think you look at like the Heat. Like, the Heat are one of those teams, like, every time I feel like they get into the playoffs, they always figure it out in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, they, like, all of a sudden they're like 500, they're a few games over 500, they get in the playoffs, and it's like, flip switch, we're good.
Right.
And it's like, okay, decent. And then the Hawks, Trae Young's a good, fun player to watch, but I just think sometimes they just don't, they just rely so much, like we talked about, like, on strictly scoring, that it's like they give up 120-some points a game. Mm-hmm. They're just going to try to outscore you. Yeah. So, I mean, I think, like you said, I think the Heat in this division, obviously, it's a little better. They'll probably be a little bit over 500, 5 or 6 games, just like last year, and they'll make their way into the playoffs. And
this division's pretty tough.
Like,
that's why literally almost the whole Atlantic division makes the playoffs, is because the Southeast, other than the Heat, are very average, and in the Central, other than the Cavaliers and the Bucks, very average. And literally,
so there's 6 teams that make it.
So there's 15 total teams in the East, and 10 teams make it at least into the play-in. So there's 5 teams that are out once the playoffs start.
And play-in is 4 teams, right?
Yes,
okay.
7, 8, 9.
And then like 7 and 8 have to lose twice or some shit like that.
7 and 8 play.
God damn. Get a straw.
7 and 8 play, and then 9 and 10 play.
Yeah.
The winner of 9-10 plays the loser of 7-8.
Okay.
For the 8 spot.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it's obviously, like we said, once the playoffs come, who knows? Out of these teams, how many of those teams, there's 15, how many of those teams have a true chance to win the whole thing?
Like the finals?
The finals. Slash, let's start easy. Let's make it to the finals. Because obviously one team from each side makes it, but I'm saying like out of those teams, what could be that one team?
I'll say 5.
5.
What's your number?
I was gonna say 4 or 5. I think you have Celtics.
You have to.
I think 4.
Okay. Who's your 4?
So I think it's the Celtics,
Okay.
76ers, Bucks, Cavaliers. I don't think the Heat. I'm not putting the Heat.
I put the Heat in there.
So that was your 5?
Yeah.
That was my potential 5.
Yeah.
I don't think the Knicks have the chance. I don't think the Nets. But I think when you look at those other teams, all of those 4 teams for me for sure have very high chance. I mean, they're very good.
Yep.
So,
Yeah,
see what
I agree.
happens. Yeah. Good times. Good times. Season starting. Go Wolves.
That's right. All right. Let's. We'll do.
We gotta do Smash Don't Pass though.
Yep.
Or fantasy and Smash Don't Pass. This
Fantasy.
man needs to take a break. Yeah, fantasy players.
Yeah, Smash Don't Pass.
Oh, I'm thinking Dawg. Yeah, you're right. Also, I'm gonna throw this out there. I think we need to have a conversation with the people on Sunday NFL Countdown, like Randy Moss. They're doing Dog of the Week. They did it this week. I watched them do it.
I mean,
Baloney. That's baloney.
We should have traded.
I will say this: they don't spell it the way we spell.
Well,
So it's a little different.
That's their loss.
Yeah, and they don't. Woof woof.
Yeah, that's weak on their part.
Yeah, well, it's grown. But yeah, when I saw that, I was like, dang. No shout out for Sippin' Sports though, huh?
I know.
Decent.
That's weak.
Yeah,
That's weak.
whatever. So see what happens.
All right, so let's start on Smash Don't Pass. Who's your quarterback?
Last week was very tough. 1 and 2.
1 and 2 for Dave, 0 for 3 for me. So
Yeah, very tough.
we're on the up and up. We're ready to go.
Jared Goff is my quarterback. Plays at home Monday night versus the Raiders. 16.2 projection. I don't know. I'm thinking he's going to bounce back in a big way. He seems to be a lot better at home. And he still had 10 fantasy points, and he played the Ravens, and he never threw a touchdown pass.
And got dominated.
Literally dominated.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to go with CJ Stroud, projected 17.9, which is fairly high, but he's coming off a bye, so he's going to be rested and relaxed. They play Carolina, whose defense is awful.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a game that they'll be able to move the ball no problem. Their running backs haven't really done much, so the way they're going to move the ball is by throwing it, and that's CJ Stroud.
Yeah, I think CJ Stroud's probably got to be the Rookie of the Year favorite, right?
It definitely has to be the Rookie of the Year favorite.
I mean, he's looked good. But I also say this about Carolina. It always surprises me because when you look at fantasy, they always have Carolina, like, defensive. If a team's playing the defense, the guys' projections are, like, super low. And it's like, bro, these teams destroy the Panthers.
Carolina's bad.
Yeah, for some reason they're bad. But
Yep.
running back, I'm going with Travis Etienne Jr., projected 18.1. Completely been on an absolute tear as of late. Seems like he's the only guy that consistently scores for them. And what you like about Travis Etienne, like he showed in London, even if his team's up by 10 and he could go down, he's scoring a touchdown. So he wants fantasy owners to love him.
I do love him.
He's one of Naram's guys. We are playing each other this week. So, but I think he's going to have a great game. 18.1, I think he's going to get an end zone. They play Pittsburgh. Actually, defense looked pretty good against the Rams, but we'll see what happens.
This is one of those times where he's putting Travis Etienne in his list so that if he smashes it, then he gets it correct. And if he doesn't, then he feels good about fantasy.
Yeah, if you actually want to know a fun fact for you, I've done it every single week for somebody.
There you go.
So there you go.
That's why he was 1 and 2 last week.
Yeah, that was why I was 1 and 2, and I still lost some fantasy. But
All right, my running back, Isaiah Pacheco, projected 17.5. The Chiefs are playing the Broncos, who are awful. Their defense is terrible. And I think that you've seen a shift to using Pacheco more
even in the run,
in the run game, and he's actually like getting dump off passes as well.
oh no, I meant in the past. Why did I say the run? Of course he won.
Yeah. So like
They're actually doing plays for him.
he's having a couple catches a game, which he can get 8-10 yards on that. That's 2 points right there.
Yeah.
I mean, 17.5, you probably expect him to score a touchdown this game. So I like Pacheco this week.
I'll say this too about Pacheco. He's the one player wherever he touches the ball, he looks like he's about to run through a wall. It doesn't matter. his hair's moving, his feet are moving way too fast, and he's just kind of going. So see what happens.
Them into the ground.
Pass catcher for me is Davante Adams, projected 18.3. Has had about 1 or 2 weeks where it's been like, okay, this is the guy. Very vocal about, obviously, last week not getting the ball enough. First drive, they threw it to him 6 times, and then they decided to not throw it to him ever again. I think that'll change. I think he's obviously been very vocal. Raiders stink. So we'll see. They play Monday night against the Lions, so we'll see what happens. 2 Monday night picks for me. 2 Monday night picks.
I love that. My wide receiver is Curtis Samuel. 10.7 projected. They play the Eagles, so you know that they're going to have to score maybe a little bit more than they usually do. And the way that you attack the Eagles is through the pass. So Curtis Samuel, I mean, he just had, I think, 18-point-something points against them a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So he's shown that he can do it. They're going to need it to have any chance of keeping the game close. Yeah. So 10.7 is just such a low number.
Also coming off a horrible game against the Giants, the Commanders are.
Yes, so they got to go back to what was working. And what was working?
I think Curtis Samuel is good for at least 1 or 2 reverses a game.
Usually.
So,
yeah. Hopefully they just don't go negative.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. There it is. Those are our smash, don't pass.
Smashes, don't passes. All right, we're on to Dawg of the week.
Woof, woof.
Who you going
I'm
with?
taking the Cleveland Browns over the Seahawks. Browns just had a tough game against the Colts. They scored like 39 points. They gave up 38. What's crazy is their offense like only scored like 1 or 2 touchdowns. Their defense had 2 touchdowns.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
No, their defense is very good. Myles Garrett's an absolute freak. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it should be a good game. I don't want Deshaun Watson to play.
Yeah, we want the backup.
We want the backup. We want to see what he can do. So there we go.
Okay. I'm gonna go with the. I just can't do that. I was very close to picking the Bengals, but can't.
Over the Niners?
Yes.
Dude, not a bad, terrible pick. The Niners have lost 2 in a row.
I know, but the Niners are gonna be at home.
Yeah, they usually play better at home.
Yeah, can't do that.
Kind of a comeback game for them.
I'm gonna go with the Raiders Monday night
against the Lions.
Yep.
After that ass whooping.
Yes.
Wow.
It's gonna get down to if they have any heart.
Which team?
The Raiders.
They don't have no heart. No, let's be real with each other. They stink.
It's
but we'll see.
Time.
8 points.
They're getting their quarterback back. You know what we should have done? This is what I was thinking. We should have done for Dawg of the Week. Every time you get it correct, you get the amount of points that they were underdogs.
Yeah.
And keep track of
how plus or negative. And then if you don't, you minus it.
Yeah.
Like you'd be minus, yeah. I'll be honest, if we would have done that from the beginning, I think it was 5-0 to start the year. Yeah, so I would have been decent. I mean, I don't think my dogs of the week were ever 8 points. I think that's the most we've done.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens.
But I like it. Jimmy Garoppolo, lead us.
Oh, Jesus, help us.
You said Devontae was going to have a good game.
I think Devontae is going to have I just think, the hardest part is the Lions just got smacked, so it's going to be a tough game. So there it is.
All right, there you go.
Dogs.
Let's move on to Fave 4.
Cooking. We're cooking today.
Yeah, we are.
We are cooking.
We're going Fave 4.
We are cooking today.
Yeah, we are.
So Fave 4.
Shoe brands.
Shoe brands.
Yep.
There it is.
Everybody's got to have.
Everyone likes a sneakerhead in today's day and age. Go ahead, Chris.
Heads.
Tails.
Okay. What do you got?
I'm gonna go first.
All right.
And I'm gonna take the obvious pick. I'm gonna go Nike.
Okay. I'm gonna go with. We'll go with. I guess I'll go Adidas. I like Ultra Boost.
Okay.
Fairly well.
Decent.
And then I'm gonna go with. Why are you laughing?
No, because it's just funny. Because it's like when you're with your first pick, you're like, nah, guess.
No, I like it. I'm gonna go with number 2 pick, Birkenstocks.
Birkenstocks is a good pick.
Yeah.
Solid pick. My number 2, I'm gonna go with Converse. I love Converse. Everybody knows I love Converse, so that's for sure a good pick.
Technically under the Nike brand, but you know.
Well, we're not being technical here. And then my third pick, I'm gonna go with Cole Haan.
Okay.
Fancy dress shoes, the most comfortable shoes, probably dress-wise in America.
Okay.
So there it is.
My third pick, I'll go with. So, can I go Jordan?
You can go Jordan.
All right. I just wanted to make sure because you have 2 Nike shoes. I thought that I should have one.
Yeah, you can have one.
All right, I'll take Jordans.
Yeah, no
for my
controversy
number
here.
3 pick. And number 4 pick, I'm gonna go with I'll go with the On Clouds.
Okay, decent pick. I actually don't have them. Alyssa loves those. I've never had them.
Mm-hmm.
My 4th and final pick. Let's go with. You know what? Let's go with a nice pair of Brooks
Oh, really?
running shoes. Yep.
You're a big runner now?
Nope, not at all.
That was gonna be news to me.
Yeah, nope, not a runner.
Okay.
Haven't ran in months.
But if you were a runner, you'd
I'd
pick
probably
Brooks.
say- Yeah, the thing is, I just love Converse so much I could wear them. I feel
For
like I would
running?
run 'em and I would hate it, but that's what I would do, baby. So
All
there
right.
it is.
So what's your 4?
My 4 are Nike, Converse, Cole Haan, Brooks.
Okay, mine are Adidas, Birkenstocks, Jordans, and On Clouds.
Do you own Birkenstocks?
Right there, baby.
Oh yeah, they're nice, dude. They're nice.
Yep.
Yeah. So there you go. I didn't try to say Under Armour. You're a big Under Armour guy.
Not
You
really.
love your basketball shoes, Under Armours.
Not really.
Oh, they're right there.
No, those are running shoes.
Yeah.
I've had those for like 10 years.
There you go. He runs. I don't run. There it is.
All right, there you have it. Episode 11.
It's in the books. Peace.